All right, welcome back to another deep dive.
Looking forward to this one.
Today, we're really going to get into something I think is fascinating, and that's the world of ultra-endurance cycling.
Oh, yeah.
And we're looking at it through the lens of Bhaskar's journey.
Interesting guy,
Yeah.
from what I've heard.
Yeah, you sent over some source material.
Some incredible material
Yeah.
about his accomplishments.
And I'm ready to just have my mind blown by this guy.
I have a feeling you're going to be impressed.
Yeah.
What Bhaskar does goes way beyond just casual weekend rides.
Right.
We're talking about pushing the limits of human endurance.
Hundreds, even thousands of kilometers in a single ride.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Often solo, too, which adds a whole other layer of complexity to it.
A whole other level.
Yeah. We've got a lot to cover in this deep dive from his early days.
Getting into cycling
Yeah.
all the way up to
Some truly epic events like this.
a 2,555-kilometer ride.
In just 12 days.
That's the one that really caught my eye, too.
Mm-hmm.
To put that in perspective for you, that's like cycling from New York City to Denver solo in less than 2 weeks.
Mind-boggling.
It's mind-boggling.
Okay, let's rewind a bit and start with Bhaskar's origin story.
Yeah.
Our sources say his journey actually began during the COVID-19 lockdown.
Ah, interesting.
Back in 2021.
It seems like a lot of people turned to cycling during that time.
Yeah.
Looking for a way to stay active, and burn off some energy.
Yeah.
But for Bhaskar, it seems like it quickly became something much more...
Yeah, he started with shorter rides, like you said, kind of burning off that energy.
Yeah.
But then he discovered virtual cycling events. And that's when things really took off for him.
That's where I think his passion for those longer distances was really ignited.
Yeah.
I mean, those virtual events probably opened up a world of possibilities for him, connecting him with a community of other cyclists, introducing him to different types of challenges.
Right, yeah.
And showing him really what was possible.
Yeah, and it wasn't long before those virtual rides translated into real-world solo adventures.
Exactly.
She started tackling longer and longer distances.
Building up that foundation of endurance and self-reliance that's so crucial in ultra-endurance cycling.
Yeah, and so let's dive into some of those early milestones.
Yeah.
We have on the list Climbs Ka Baap.
Climbs Ka Baap, okay.
It's a 1,200-kilometer ride.
1,200 kilometers.
Completed in just 88 hours and 35 minutes.
Wow, that's less than 4 days to cover a distance that's longer than the entire length of California.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, these events have strict time limits, so he wasn't just cruising along.
Yeah.
He had to maintain a really demanding pace to make those cutoffs.
And then there's the Coorg 1000.
The Coorg 1000?
Also in 1,000 kilometers, but completed in 72 hours and 40 minutes.
Okay.
Now, what makes this one stand out to me is he tackled this one on a mountain bike.
That means navigating rough terrain, dealing with the extra weight of the bike, and just pushing through a whole other level of physical exertion.
I'm trying to wrap my head around all of it, honestly.
It's impressive.
It seems like he enjoys pushing those boundaries.
Right.
Because he also took on the legendary Paris-Brest Paris.
Oh, wow.
A 1,200-kilometer event on a mountain bike.
He finished that one in 94 hours.
Yeah.
And the Paris-Brest Paris is already considered one of the most challenging cycling events in the world.
Yeah.
But doing it on a mountain bike just adds another layer of complexity and difficulty.
It's clear this guy is not afraid of a challenge.
Not at all.
He kept the momentum going.
He did.
With Pongdam and Devbhoomi events.
Both covering 1,000 kilometers.
Both 1,000 kilometers, demonstrating some serious consistency here.
Yeah, he's just getting warmed up at this point, I think.
But what really stood out to me, going through this material, is his dedication to something called BRMs.
BRMs.
You've got over 125 of them logged in just 30 months.
Ah, yes. The BRMs, or Breves de Randonneurs Mondiaux.
Okay.
These are organized long-distance cycling events with very specific rules and time limits.
Wow.
To complete even one BRM is an accomplishment.
Right.
But 125 in such a short span of time, that's a whole other level of dedication.
It speaks volumes.
It really does.
About his discipline and commitment to this.
Absolutely.
But as impressive as the BRMs are, they're just one piece of the puzzle.
Okay.
Because he's also earned the very prestigious title of Super Randonneur.
Super Randonneur. Help me understand.
Okay.
What goes into achieving that?
So to become a Super Randonneur, or SR for short.
A cyclist. needs to complete a series of 4 incredibly challenging BRMs,
Okay.
ranging from 200 to 600 kilometers,
Wow.
all within a single calendar year.
Okay.
And get this, Bhaskar has done this a staggering 29 times.
29 times?
29 times.
That's unbelievable.
It's incredible.
And we're not even talking about the same SR over and over again.
No.
He's got an SR completed in a mere 111 hours.
Wow.
4 5-day SRs.
Okay.
4 6-day SRs.
Why?
And even 3 7-day SRs.
He's not just mastering one type of ultra-endurance challenge.
Right.
He's proving himself across a whole spectrum of distances and time frames.
It's clear he's pushing himself to the limit.
From the absolute limit.
In every way imaginable.
Yeah.
But out of all these incredible achievements, the one that really blew my mind was his solo journey from Delhi to Machilipatnam.
Delhi to Machilipatnam.
I mean, 2,555 kilometers in just 12 days.
It almost seems superhuman. And what really makes this ride stand out, I think, is the level of self-sufficiency required.
Right.
He had to plan his route, carry all of his supplies, navigate unfamiliar roads, deal with whatever weather conditions came his way, all while being completely alone.
That must require incredible mental fortitude.
An incredible amount.
Yeah, not just to keep pedaling, but to handle
every logistical detail.
Every
obstacle that arises.
That comes up.
He was a one-man cycling machine on that journey.
And believe it or not, this isn't even his only solo adventure.
Really?
We've also got details on a 1,500-kilometer journey he undertook with a friend.
Okay, so a little company on that one.
An incredible shared experience.
Yeah.
And then there's a 1,250-kilometer ride with over 9,000 meters.
9,000
meter of elevation gain.
He must have some serious leg muscles after that one.
Can you imagine those climbs?
It's clear that Bhaskar is constantly seeking
new challenges and pushing himself beyond his comfort zone.
It's amazing to see someone so dedicated to pushing the limits of human endurance.
Absolutely.
I'm curious, what drives someone to take on these kinds of challenges?
Yeah.
What motivates a person?
What makes someone like Bhaskar tick?
To dedicate their life to ultra-endurance cycling?
Yeah.
What makes someone like Bhaskar tick?
That's a great question. And luckily, the sources you provided give us some insights into his motivations and his mindset.
All right, spill the beans.
Okay, so...
What keeps him pedaling forward?
Well, first and foremost, he seems to be driven by personal goals and just the pure thrill of the challenge.
Right.
There's a sense of satisfaction that comes from setting a goal that seems almost impossible and then pushing yourself to achieve it.
So it's about proving to himself what he's capable of.
Exactly.
And then there's that rewarding feeling that comes from pushing past your limits.
Right.
Both physically and mentally.
Yeah.
That sense of accomplishment.
Yeah.
When you overcome an obstacle or achieve a milestone you never thought possible.
Right.
But it's not just an internal drive.
Okay.
He also draws strength from the supportive cycling community.
That makes sense.
Right.
Having a network of like-minded individuals who understand the challenges and the triumphs must be invaluable.
Especially during those long, grueling solo rides.
Yeah, like having a virtual peloton.
Yeah, it's like having a virtual peloton pushing him forward.
Right.
Even when he's physically alone.
Yeah.
It's a sense of camaraderie and shared purpose.
Right.
That can be incredibly motivating.
It sounds like that sense of community is really crucial in a sport like this, where the challenges can be so intense and isolating at times.
It can be, yeah.
But I'm also curious about the advice that Bhaskar has for aspiring ultra-endurance cyclists. What kind of wisdom does he share from his experiences?
Well, one of the key things he emphasizes is the importance of starting small.
Right.
And gradually building up your distance and your stamina.
So you're not just jumping into a 1,000-kilometer ride right out the gate.
It's about respecting the process.
Okay.
And laying a solid foundation.
That makes sense. You wouldn't expect someone to run a marathon without training properly.
Exactly.
And ultra-endurance cycling is no different.
No different.
What else does he suggest?
He's a big advocate for listening to your body.
Okay.
And understanding the importance of pacing.
Right.
Nutrition and recovery.
Yeah.
These are all critical elements.
Right.
That can make or break a long ride.
It's like he's saying you need to become an expert.
Become an expert on your own body.
On your own body.
Knowing how to fuel it properly.
Yeah.
When to push.
Yeah.
And when to rest.
He also encourages setting realistic goals.
He does.
Staying consistent with your training.
Right.
So it's not just
about physical endurance.
about physical endurance.
It's about mental discipline as well.
It's about having that
Right.
strategic approach.
And having that strategic approach, exactly.
Yeah.
And perhaps most importantly, he emphasizes the need to embrace the challenge and not be afraid to step outside of your comfort zone.
I love that.
Right.
It's like he's saying that discomfort is where the magic happens.
That's where the growth happens, yeah.
But speaking of challenges, I want to delve deeper into the mental aspect of ultra-endurance cycling.
Right.
These rides, especially the solo one, must be as much
absolutely.
like a mental battle.
As much a mental battle as a physical one.
As a physical one.
Yeah.
What kinds of things has Bhaskar said?
Well, he talks about dealing with those mental and emotional demands, facing sleep deprivation, extreme weather conditions, mechanical breakdowns, you name it, all while pushing his body to the absolute limit.
That's incredible. It takes a special kind of grit.
It does.
To push through those challenges, especially when you're out there alone, miles from civilization.
Miles from civilization, yeah.
What are some of the insights?
So one thing he emphasizes
he shared about managing those tough moments
is the importance of staying positive. And focused on the present moment.
So being mindful. Not getting overwhelmed by the enormity of the challenge.
Not getting overwhelmed.
And just focusing on the next pedal stroke.
Exactly.
The next kilometer.
Yeah, he also talks about breaking down the challenge into smaller, more manageable chunks. Instead of thinking about the entire 2,555 kilometers, he might focus on reaching the next town, the next rest stop, or even just the next hill.
So it's creating these mental checkpoints.
Exactly. Mental checkpoints.
Along the way.
Along the way.
Making the overall goal.
Making it seem less daunting.
Less daunting.
Yeah.
He also mentions the importance of having a strong why.
A strong why, yeah.
A clear sense of purpose.
A clear sense of purpose.
That keeps him motivated.
Keeps him going.
When things get tough.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear more about his why.
Sure.
What is it about ultra-endurance cycling?
Well, it seems to be
that keeps him coming back for more.
A combination of factors.
Okay.
He's spoken about the personal satisfaction of setting a challenging goal and then achieving it. Proving to himself that he's capable of more than he initially thought possible.
So it's about pushing those boundaries.
Pushing his own boundaries,
Exploring the limits.
And exploring the limits of human potential. Absolutely.
He's also mentioned that sense of freedom.
He has.
An adventure that comes with exploring new places and pushing those physical limits.
It's a way for him to connect with nature. Test his resilience. And experience a level of self-discovery that's difficult to find elsewhere.
It sounds like he's found a way.
I think he has.
To turn those incredible physical challenges into a form of personal growth and self-exploration.
He really has. And it's inspiring to see someone using a sport in such a profound way.
I think that's one of the most fascinating aspects of Bhaskar's story.
It's not just about breaking records or achieving these incredible physical feats. It's about the internal transformation that occurs along the way. Pushing past your perceived limitations. Overcoming self-doubt. And discovering a strength you never knew you possessed.
And that kind of mental and emotional resilience
absolutely.
spills over.
It spills over.
Into other areas of life.
Into every area of life, Absolutely. The skills that he develops on these ultra-endurance rides, the discipline, the perseverance, problem solving, the resilience, those are all qualities that are valuable in any challenging pursuit. Whether it's running a business will never attempt a 2,555 kilometer bike ride. There are still valuable lessons that we can glean from Bhaskar's journey.
He's showing us that we all have the potential to achieve incredible things, both physically and mentally. It's just a matter of setting our sights high, embracing the challenge, and being willing to push beyond our comfort zones.
He's like a living example.
He is a living example of the human spirit.
Of the power of the human spirit,
Reminding us that we're capable of so much more.
So much more.
Than we often give ourselves credit for.
Than we give ourselves credit for.
But beyond those personal achievements, I'm curious about his impact on the cycling community and the world at large. Has he inspired others
Oh,
to
absolutely.
take on their own challenges.
He's a role model.
Has his story resonated with people
Yes.
beyond the realm of ultra-endurance cycling?
His story has struck a chord with people from all walks of life.
Yeah.
His dedication,
Yeah.
humility,
Yeah.
and unwavering pursuit of his goals
Yeah.
has made him a role model
Yeah.
for aspiring athletes
Yeah.
and really anyone seeking to push their own boundaries.
It's like he's showing us that you don't have to be a superhuman to
Right.
achieve extraordinary things.
You don't. It's about having the courage to take that first step,
Yeah.
embrace the challenge,
Yeah.
and to believe in your own potential.
And by sharing his journey
Yes.
so openly and authentically,
Yes.
he's inspiring others
He is.
to find their own ultra-endurance challenges,
Right.
whatever they may be.
Whatever they may be, exactly.
It's a reminder
They do.
that we all have mountains to climb,
We do.
both literally
Literally
and figuratively.
and figuratively.
And that the journey itself
Journey itself
is just as important
as the destination.
as the destination.
I love that.
It's a message that transcends any particular sport
Yeah.
or activity.
It's a message about the human spirit
It is.
and our innate capacity for resilience,
Mm-hmm.
growth, and self-discovery.
I agree.
But before we wrap up our deep dive
Okay.
into Bhaskar's world,
Yeah.
I want to touch on one more thing.
Okay.
We've talked a lot about his accomplishments
Sure.
and his mindset,
Mhm.
but I'm curious about the logistical and technical side
Okay.
of ultra-endurance cycling.
Right.
What kind of gear, training, and preparation?
Well, the bike itself
Mhm.
goes
Wait,
into the
epic rides.
is obviously key.
What does it take? Ultra-endurance cyclists need a bike that is lightweight,
Yeah.
durable,
Right.
and comfortable enough to ride for hours on end.
So we're not talking about your average department store bicycle here.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
These bikes are often custom built
Okay.
or heavily modified
Okay.
to meet the specific demands of long-distance riding.
I see.
They typically have a more relaxed geometry
Okay.
for comfort,
Okay.
wider tires for stability and puncture resistance,
Right.
and a range of gearing options to tackle different terrains.
And I imagine there's a whole world of specialized gear
There
that is
isn't.
beyond the bike itself.
Absolutely. Everything from clothing and shoes to lights, bags, and tools
Yeah.
needs to be carefully chosen for both performance and comfort.
Yeah. What about carrying supplies? I
Well,
imagine these rides require a lot
That's-
of food, water, and gear.
ultra-endurance cyclists typically use a combination of frame bags,
Okay.
saddle bags, and handlebar bags
Okay.
to carry everything they need,
Wow.
including food, water, tools,
Right.
spare parts,
Right.
clothing,
Yeah.
and camping gear for overnight rides.
It sounds like there's a lot of planning,
Very-
preparation involved.
A lot of planning and
And
preparation,
even beyond
the physical training.
physical training, yeah.
Bhaskar talks about the importance.
He does. He talks about the importance of meticulous route planning,
Yeah.
studying maps,
Okay.
identifying resupply points,
Right.
and anticipating potential challenges.
It's not
Not just about physical strength.
It's about logistics.
It's about
It's about
strategy, being prepared for the unexpected.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we've definitely uncovered a lot of fascinating information
Yeah.
about Bhaskar's journey
Right.
and the world of ultra-endurance cycling.
A fascinating world.
But as we approach the end of our deep dive,
Okay.
I'm curious to hear your final thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
What's the key takeaway?
You hope our listeners walk away with.
It's been quite a journey, exploring Bhaskar's world and the incredible challenges of ultra-endurance cycling.
Yeah.
If I had to distill it all down to one key takeaway,
Yeah.
I'd say it's this. We often place limits on ourselves, but those limits are
Yeah.
often far more mental
Yeah.
than physical. Bhaskar's story demonstrates the extraordinary things we can achieve when we break free from those self-imposed boundaries.
Yeah. It's like he's saying, don't tell me what I can't do, watch me do it.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's not about comparing ourselves to an
Right.
elite athlete like Bhaskar.
Right.
It's about recognizing that we all have
Yeah.
a wellspring of resilience and potential within us. Maybe your ultra-endurance challenge isn't cycling thousands of kilometers.
Yeah.
Maybe it's writing a book or starting a business
Yeah.
or overcoming a personal obstacle. The principle is the same. Set a goal that seems just outside your reach.
Right.
And then go after it with everything you've got.
You know, as we've been talking about Bhaskar's journey,
Yeah.
I've been thinking about those moments when he hits the wall, you know?
Right.
When his body is screaming at him to
Yeah.
stop.
Right.
What keeps him going?
Yeah.
Is it sheer willpower, or is there something deeper at play?
That's a fascinating question. And honestly, I think it's a bit of both. There's definitely an element of grit and determination,
Right.
a refusal to give up even when the going gets tough.
Yeah.
But I also believe there's a deeper connection to something larger
Okay.
than himself, a sense of purpose
Right.
that transcends the physical challenge.
Yeah, it's like he's tapping into a source of energy and motivation that
It's
goes
beyond
beyond
the physical realm.
the physical realm. And I think that's what makes his story so inspiring.
Right.
He's not just proving something to himself, he's showing us what's possible when we align our actions with a deeper sense of purpose.
Yeah.
It's about finding that thing.
That lights you up, that makes you want to get out of bed in the morning and push yourself beyond your perceived limits.
It's a beautiful reminder that we're all capable of achieving extraordinary things when we connect with that inner drive.
I agree.
And that the journey itself, with all of its challenges and triumphs, is just as important as the destination.
Absolutely. Well said. And who knows, maybe your journey will inspire someone else to embark on their own adventure.
Yeah.
The ripple effect of one person's determination can be truly remarkable.
It's been an incredible deep dive into the world of ultra-endurance cycling and the inspiring story of Bhaskar. We've explored the physical and mental challenges, the logistical complexities, and the deeper motivation that drives someone to push themselves to these extraordinary limits.
And uncovered some valuable lessons about resilience,
Right.
goal setting, and the boundless potential
Yeah.
of the human spirit.
So to our listener, we encourage you to keep exploring, keep challenging yourself, and keep pedaling forward on your own unique journey.
And remember, the finish line is just the beginning of another adventure.
Thanks for joining us.